think we're live. Hey, Beanie blessings. Welcome to Deadpan Dope Tuesdays with me, Deadpan Lizzie, the Beanie God. This will be recorded for Facebook Live and YouTube. If you don't want to be seen or heard, please mute your mic and turn off your camera. Please unmute yourself if you do choose to share an authoring, and mute when you are not, out of consideration for your fellow artists. This mic is for all mediums of art and beanies. For those who don't know me, I'm an author, realtor, and full-time lesbian here in New York City. That last one's not a twist. Feel ground rules, no hate speech or bullying whatsoever. If I hear or see any of that tonight, you're gonna get the boot, no questions asked. This is a brave space. Like me, many of us have parallel careers and are here to just unwind after a long day's work, so please leave the crappy attitudes behind before entering our space. I don't believe in content or trigger warnings, given life is one, but if you feel the need to do so, go right for it. Each artist has 4 minutes to share. I'm not going to ring a bell or buzz you if you go over, but be mindful of the other artists who want to share an offering tonight as well. And I will always announce who's on deck, and the current list is in the chat. Okay. As a reminder, our executive producer here at Word is Right, Marissa Prada, is also the publisher of Red Green Books. So if you're interested in putting your work out into the world, please contact her for more on that. Before we begin our mic tonight, we're going to do our 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 meditation exercise. Everyone you don't have to, of course, but if you want to center yourself and join me for our quick 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So we will start with 5. What are 5 things you can currently see in front of you? 5 things you can see. You can see my lamp. You can see my laptop. You can see all of you. Can see my tea mug, and see my stickers on my computer. There are 4 things you can touch. 4 things you can touch. Touching my desk. Feel my feet, top of the carpet. Feel the calluses on my hands. And feel the blanket on my lap. There are 3 things you can hear. 3 things we can currently hear. You can hear the rain starting to come down outside in New York. And the wind that underscores it. Can you hear the silence in the room? There are 2 things you can smell. You can smell my tea. I can smell my new room diffuser from West Elm. What is 1 thing you can taste? And I can taste my dinner still. Right? So 5 things you can see, 4 things you can touch, 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can smell, and 1 thing you can taste or feel. Okay. Try to get centered in our bodies before we share offerings in our space tonight. Thank you for joining us and being present with us. All right. Before we get started, I'm just going to say my next book just came out. It's called Inner Visions. It's a book of proses. There's some panthers and poems in them. It is co-published with Telltale Poetry and Red Green Books, Marissa's Press. Thank you. So if anyone would like to pre-order one or get one off Amazon or Barnes & Noble, let me know, and I will also drop those links in the chat. But enough about me. We're here to have all our artists bless the space tonight. So on deck is Jeff Cotro, but please welcome to the mic now, Shaki G.
Hey everybody. Thanks for the breathing exercise. I'll say been a little worked up today. A lot of crazy stuff going on. I just saw that they all 15,000 protesters in Iran were charged to death, and no one's doing anything about it. So I don't know, the world's just getting to me. But I have 2 poems that I've written in the last 2 days, and yeah, so they're a little bit down. First one's called Disaster. I am a ticking time bomb. Doomsday clock 1 minute to midnight. The death rattle in the throat of my ancestors. What I mean is I'm not okay. Which means for as long as I have to, I will pretend to be anything other than nuclear warhead. I am an ocean pretending to be a desert and still drowning in myself, gasping for air. I'm reminded of the last time I was resuscitated, all sore chest and brittle bone, a lifeguard breathing life into me as if he had the right to call himself God, a blasphemous breath. And still, I can't remember if I've ever been baptized. I have sat in the pews of a Baptist church and begged for forgiveness, received a cold shoulder, and still I cry when a church hall becomes shooting range or target practice, as if I'm not bullet in chamber or flame next to Molotov. I wish I were better than all this. But lately, I haven't been able to convince myself I am anything other than the last second before a disaster, waiting to become it. All right, and the second piece is a little bit longer. It's called Depression. Depression is due to a chemical imbalance in the brain. My therapist says she doesn't think I have an imbalance. She says sometimes bad things happen and we get sad, and that I have had a lot of bad things happen to me. I no longer have a word to describe how I'm feeling. My ex texts me to tell me she's met a new guy. She's excited to try again. It's not lost on me that my chest has become a rattling cage of bones, a swollen igloo, each breath playing my ribs like a xylophone, no harmony to the music. I am teeter-tottering on a balance beam of emotion, but I am not depressed. I am anything but depressed. My tears make daily visits to the canyons beyond my eyes. Today, the weather is calling for rain. If they're not careful, they will get caught in a flash flood waterfall careening off my chin into the abyss. I will brush them off like mayflies and pretend they do not exist once they're gone. I do not have a chemical imbalance in my brain, but most days my bed holds me hostage, places a blanket over my head, waterboards me into saying I am not enough. I say it so much I start to believe it, write out my confessions in poetry, but I am not depressed. I'm anything but depressed. I heard once Van Gogh learned that the color yellow is supposed to make you happy, so he began drinking yellow paint, tried to make a sunshine in the darkness of his stomach, ended with lead poisoning instead. And every day after became a starry night, but he was depressed. My therapist says I am not, so I try to sketch a different skyline, hope it will be worth half as much or nothing at all. Happy is not the opposite of depression. Apparently, it is just sadness. Thank you.
I need to take a minute after hearing that because of how moving they both were. Damn. Thank you for those offerings to open the space. Yeah, it's been a hard day. Our thoughts and prayers are with Iran. It's too much. This year has been too much pain, too much horror in the world, and there needs to be serious change. It's also okay to be depressed and angry. We have to share that and not feel shame in that. So thank you for being vulnerable and sharing that and allowing others to tap into that later this evening. It's always a pleasure to hear you, Shaki, and have you in the space and as a part of our team. Shaki is in our Out Loud LGBTQ anthology, and she is also one of the producers and MCs of the podcast that continues with that. And I'm really proud of all the work she's doing. Thank you so much. Is there anything you'd like to share or promote in the space tonight?
No, I don't have any promotions. Just add me on IG if you haven't already.
Yeah, follow Shaki on IG. Check out the Out Loud anthology and the podcast. She's incredible. Thank you so much, Shaki. So on deck, we have Christopher Moore. And up to Mike now, our friend from across the border. He is Pinky's roommate. And I've gotten to hang out with him in person, and he is an incredibly charming and fun person to hang out with. So please welcome Jeff Cottrell.
Yes, I think we've got a bit of a New York Poetry Festival reunion tonight. We've got me, you, Ray Jane, Urban Cowboy, Terry, So yeah, reunion time. Okay, so I'll do a little story. I'm sure you've heard this before, or at least a couple of you have heard this one before. Atlantic City. They're dragging me to prison again. That's the way it goes here in Atlantic City. I came here young and naive, expecting a gambling paradise, and found myself in a police state. There's never a warning, never a chance to escape, not even a questioning from the authorities or from those who accuse you. They don't even tell you what your alleged crime is. They grab you and haul you straight to the city's only jail facility. Mind you, it's not so bad once you're there. Prisoners in Atlantic City are permitted visitors anytime with no limit, and they still allow you to collect some of your work earnings, not your regular base salary. That gets delayed until they let you out. Sometimes they let you out right away if you have the funds to pay the proper fine or if you flash a special card. Sometimes you can get out early if you play along and, shall we say, roll the dice right. Typically, though, you stay incarcerated for a given amount of time and then get out. And you think you're free, but you never are. Because they'll get you again. They'll drag you off, and the whole routine plays out as before. It's maddening and absurd, an American Kafka tale. But that's how it is here. For years, I've yearned to escape Atlantic City, but I can't. It's an endless cycle in which you travel around the city over and over, along the same route, seeing the same streets, the same railroads, and none of them ever change. And you can't leave, and you never find a true home. Sure, the streets are colorful, as are the buildings on them, but they're all surrounded by a drab gray that never goes away. Where are all the casinos, you ask yourself? Where are the glitz and the glamour? Were these only a myth designed to entrap us all? Oh, there's plenty of money here. I can confirm that Atlantic City is a rich place full of opportunity, but it's a cutthroat one. Invest well, and you can come out on top, and you rarely have to pay taxes. Find yourself on the wrong street, and you can be decimated in less than a blink, depending on who owns the street and what they've built there. Oh, they're crazy about real estate in this town. That seems to be the only game around. You can purchase whole avenues at shockingly low prices, 60, 100, 200 bucks. You can buy national railroads and even the city utilities if you get to them before anyone else does, or if they get auctioned off. And the rentals can bring in good cash on the side, especially when you start building homes and accommodations. But Atlantic City has authoritarian methods of collecting these rentals for investors. If they catch you loitering on a competitor's street, they'll make you pay rent for being there. That's not so bad, usually just a few bucks, until the houses and hotels start going up, and then you have to be careful. I went through a rough spot not long ago when I was stuck on the boardwalk, and the only place to stay was that Great Red Hotel. They charged me $2,000 just for one night. $2,000, and I had no choice. It could have plunged me into instant bankruptcy. How lucky I had my own property as a backup. It was devastating, though. I had to sell all of my houses on Kentucky, Indiana, and Illinois avenues at half price, and then I had to mortgage those same streets. I barely collected enough. Thank God I received my regular salary right after I left the boardwalk. And then by chance, they dragged me off to prison again for no conceivable reason. That's the funniest thing about Atlantic City. Sometimes jail is a haven. You can relax and avoid the unpredictable pitfalls of this real estate market. Who knows what might have happened to me if I hadn't been safe in jail, still free to collect rent on my own property. I might have stepped on the wrong spot again and been knocked out of the game for keeps. Don't get me wrong, there are other ways to make money in this town, but they're infrequent and unreliable. There are opera nights and Christmas funds. There's the occasional beauty contest. I came in second place once and received $10. Never found out what the first prize was. If you're lucky, you can get a couple $100 when there's a bank error in your favor. You might get money when your building and loan matures. I once received a dividend of 50 bucks, although I can't remember buying any corporate shares. Some of these side income sources seem shady and dubious indeed. There's that free parking spot in the middle of town. I don't know what's going on there, but every time I park my car there, the parking attendant gives me money. $500 in cash, hands it to me as if it's the most normal thing in the world. But what for? I ask him. Where is this money coming from? He never tells me, just smiles and walks away. And I take the money every time, but something feels wrong about it. Even by the twisted logic of this town, it seems like something outside of the rules. I avoid parking there these days. Who knows what dirty scheme they're involved in. Dear God, how I wish I could leave Atlantic City. After years of roaming here, of making and losing money so randomly, I've come to find it the most boring and meaningless place in existence. I dream of other lives. Surely I could have been anything else. A pair of ragged claws? Or perhaps I could have been a world conqueror, dominating nations from Argentina to Kamchatka. Or I could have been a sleuth, solving murders in great mansions. Or an island settler, building roads and settlements in exchange for sheep and wood. Or a navy captain, sinking cruisers and submarines with well-aimed missiles. A simple rail passenger, a dungeon master, a surgeon, with hands so skilled that the instruments never touch the sides of the incisions. I could have been a hippo. I swear, I'd be willing to transform into a hippopotamus living on nothing but giant white marbles to get out of this town for a day. Why, Lord? Why such a cruel fate? What's this? I'm free again. Looks like chance has intervened once more, and I'm spared another brief prison term. I suppose I'll make a brief pit stop at the waterworks. Today, they're charging me a whopping $120 just to wander around the plant. It's absurd, but that's the way things go here. Someday I may make it out of Atlantic City. Until then, please keep a bed free for me at Marvin Gardens. So that was called Atlantic City. And so I did a couple of radio interviews while I was across the pond, one with Mel Bradley and one with Skylar J. Winter and Neshka Turner. And so I'll put links to those. You can still hear them online. And you should also know my novel, Hate Story, is now available in hardcover. Hardcover Hate Story. And yeah, that's me, I guess.
Well, congrats. I actually have read Hate Story and I loved it.
Great,
So
thank you.
congratulations on the book. Yes, I'm making my way through all the books I got at the festival in New York. So I loved it. So get his book, please. I'm so happy you got to hang with those artists across the pond. It looked like you had a wonderful time. Always love having you in our space, and we hope we'll hear from you again in round 2 later this evening. Maybe Pinky will share an offering.
Sure.
I don't know. I'd like to be a real estate agent. It's just a hippo eating white marbles, but I don't think I can get away with that, unfortunately. But thank you for sharing, Jeff. Always a pleasure to have you. All right. On deck, we have Ethan Mackler, and up now, he is also a producer here at Word is Right. He also has his podcast, Poetic Robin Hood, and he has his new mic, third days, every Thursday at, I think, 7 or 7:30. And you can check his IG for that. And he also does more poetry here with Word is Right, second and fourth Wednesdays of the month at 7:30 Eastern time. So please welcome to the mic now, Christopher Moore.
Thanks, Lizzie. I also have another new project, which I'll tell you afterwards. So I just wrote this one just now, actually. It's called New Delphi. Why do you keep lying, O Oracle? You who think you know me, told me of false wonders everywhere that gave the false seal of approval for the imaginary odyssey you sent me on, thinking I could crown this mortal Aphrodite who was just another Helen that hid her Paris. Do not spew more prophecies from your wall of flames just for me to go on yet another false odyssey. That's the only poem I have tonight.
It's great. I love that offering. I love mythology. I love how you blended different gods in there. Thank you for sharing that. And let us know about this new project. You're always having new things. I'm really proud of all the work you do.
Yeah, I have several projects. Obviously, I do have more poetry every second and fourth Wednesday. The next one is a week from tomorrow at its new time, 8:00 Eastern. On top of that, I have the Poetic Robin Hood. That's every first Monday of the month. I post a new podcast episode. In fact, I just recorded the other day. Nemo is my December poet for the podcast, and we just recorded it the other day. So I have that as well. And I also started my own publication too, called Prometheus Quarterly, in which you can submit to it. It's going to be every January, April, July, and October. Right now, submissions are open for January, and there's a theme for the first one called Modern Myths, meaning you can either compare something in your life to something from mythology, or you can take a story from mythology and create like a modern twist to it. The only catch is it has to be Greco-Roman, like no Hindu, no Egyptian, just Greco-Roman.
Well, congratulations on all that. That's very exciting. I think I saw you post about that the other day. I love Greco-Roman. Actually, I have a whole play, radio play about it. So congratulations on all that. We're so excited to see all the work you're doing. And yeah, and Nemo's going to be on your podcast, and that's wonderful. And we're going to hear from Nemo a little later tonight. All right, so check Chris Moore out and all things he's doing. And now he's a part of the late night crowd. It's going to do 8 p.m. So welcome to the late night
Yeah.
Words Right crowd.
Well, I discovered
it.
that more people show up later on when I'm about ready to end my open mic. So I'm like, yeah, I should probably just move at like a half hour, like further or something.
Prime time. Yeah, prime time.
Yeah.
You know, that's great. I think that'll be a great time slot for you. And I will be there. I usually come when I can on Wednesdays. So check that out next week and everything he's doing. And he can drop all the links in the chat and his handles for great to meet you guys. And you can also change your Zoom box name if you want to add anything there to make it easier for folks and in our YouTube and on our Facebook chat. So go ahead and share all what you do with the world. All right. Right on deck, we got Cherry Rose Jurtson. But up to the mic now, please welcome our favorite bassist, Ethan Macklin. Give some love to Ethan Mackler, friends. He's inspired me to want to learn how to play bass guitar. It's on my list of 2023 things. And he's the only person that looks better in glasses and a beanie than me. I think so. So always a pleasure to hear Ethan. I love his jams and his vibe. And he is also a co-host of Garage Poets, which is a brother organization of ours here at The Word Is Right, based out of Massachusetts. Anything else you want to promote coming up, Ethan?
Yeah. Well, I'm not actually a co-host of Garage Poets, but I am part of the Garage Poets, and yes, that open mic is Fridays, at least most Fridays currently. On Facebook, Garage Poets Open Mic, and I'm on Facebook, Ethan Mackler. And yeah, there you go.
There you go. And hopefully we'll hear a lot more bass from Ethan later this evening. So thank you for being here. It's always good to see you.
I forgot to
All
say,
right.
since you mentioned Garage Poets this Friday, we'll be interviewing Catherine Weiss, and she will be performing as well. So if you come by, I'll be doing that.
Oh, awesome. That's wonderful. Hopefully I can make it Friday night. I don't know if I'll be home, but if I am, I will drop in and check that out. But if you are around, please go support them. If not, you can catch the replay on YouTube. All right, we're gonna keep going. I see D. Allen has joined us. Many blessings, D. Welcome. If you'd like to share an offering, please drop your name in the chat and I'll add you to the list. All right, so on deck, we got Nemo-san. And up to the mic now, she is my karaoke wife, one of the many wives of mine in our artist community. And she is also the proud author of the Chameleon Chronicles. And I hope I get to see her in New York City again soon. So please welcome Terry Rose Streetson. If she's there. You there, Terry? No, she might have stepped away. All right. So we'll go back to Terry when she gets back. So let me see. On deck, we got Marion Peterson, but please welcome now. I think it's his first time in our Deadpan Dope space. So please give a warm Beanie blessing welcome to Nemo.
Thank you very much. It's great to be here. I needed this tonight. So thank you everyone for the space and the energy and your poetry. I have prepared 3 thematically connected micropoems, which I will now proceed to read. Watching the light crawl down the walls of the labyrinth of his childhood, Icarus waits for noon. The warmth on his face is no replacement for the love his father gives his work, and not his son, but it's something. The boy knows if he ever gets his freedom, he's going to find a way to be closer to the sun. For my wickedness, I labored in rooms full of rotting boxes that couldn't be sorted, stacks of moldering paper that couldn't be moved, and the fetid smell of fresh shame mixing with the old. I wonder if I will ever be strong enough to divert a river through my heart to wash away the filth and end these wretched thoughts so I can start again clean. I know the ascent all too well, slopes painted with my spent blood, scattered with the shredded banners of past rallies. It's my heart's deepest desire to get to the top of the hill, but there's this boulder, and it is with me wherever I go. Pushing the great rock upwards has carved grooves in the dirt, and sometimes I follow them. Sometimes I make new ones. And sometimes I want to change the path, but the boulder gets stuck in the ruts. I find myself having to repeat a route I know will end in failure, and watch the boulder roll back down, crushing everything beneath it, bringing me back to the base, looking up, feeling broken. I've gotten to the top before, But the last time I found a wicked man whose face I've seen in the mirror. So I pushed him and I felt him fall. And I dreamt that my world was tumbling. And I woke at the bottom, feeling scared. This time I'm keeping my head down, staying focused on the work. I can feel the weight of the burden shifting as my will grows stronger and the climb begins again. Thank you very much. And I'm on the December 5th Poetic Robin Hood podcast with Christopher Moore, and I had a great time recording it. So I hope those of you who are able to listen will enjoy it. Thank you very much for having me this evening.
Absolutely. Make some love. It's our first time in our space for Nemo's sound, and it was absolutely beautiful. I loved all the metaphors, and it was just bar after bar after bar after bar. So thank you for being here. We hope that you'll stick around for our second, which will probably be our final round tonight. And check him out on the podcast and everything else he does. He's part of Guerrilla Poets. He leads workshops with Guerrilla Poets, which is our sister organization here. Executive producer Shane Maynor runs it and has her team. We love Shane Maynor, does all the cover art for Red or Green Books. And after December 5th, on December 6th, which is a Tuesday, that'll actually be the 1-year anniversary of Deadpan Dope. I can't believe it's been a year hosting and producing this mic, and thank you everyone that has come back and participated and continues to grow. And we will do a celebration on that night at the same time, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So thank you, Nemo. Thank you, everyone, and we'll keep going. So on deck we have Ray Jane, but please welcome to the mic now. She's a mainstay here at Deadpan Dope, Marianne Peterson.
Okay. This one's called Every Time I Close My Eyes. I wrote on the 13th of this month at 1:48 in the morning. It's not based on anything real, though. Every time I close my eyes, I see you in my mind. I want to see the sunrise with you. Every time I close my eyes, I remember my feelings for you. Every time I close my eyes, I remember you. Every time I close my eyes, I remember the grind of loving you. You vanished like a ghost. How can I live without you? The road is hard to travel on. I'm left alone with my thoughts of you now. You are like a ghost that haunts me. I miss you.
Oh, thank you, Marianne. Always good to hear you. Do you have another offering, or would you like to leave it for round 2?
I can do another one. I could get to a page. This is called Having a Mental Illness. I wrote on the 8th of this month. Having a mental illness is hard to swallow for anyone. People seem to think you are crazy. Having a mental illness is not fun for anyone. Doctors put you on medication, but that will change the fact that you are mentally ill. All it does is keep it in control. Mental illness runs in families. Mental illness can affect anybody. When you are mentally ill, you get judged a lot. There are outside influences that can affect a person also, like being bullied. Being a victim of domestic violence can affect you mentally as well. Having mental illness is not a good thing because of all the stigma attached to it.
Thank you, Marianne.
Thanks.
Thank you for your offerings. And she's got a lot of books out. Where can everyone find your books?
On Amazon, they look under my name, Marianne Peterson. They may have to scroll a little bit, but they'll find them.
Awesome, awesome. Well, go support her, get her books. How many books do you have now?
8. Working on my
8
9th and 10th
books.
books. Yeah. I know my
Congratulations.
yeah, thanks. On my poetry
Congratulations
book
on-
manuscript I'm working on right now, I'm on page 9 of it now. And then on my autobiography, I believe I'm on page 17 or 18 right now.
That is wonderful. We look forward to supporting you in that when they are finished and up for purchase. And congratulations on that. All that work you've done. That's tremendous. 10 books. That's incredibly impressive. Well, thank you for being here, and we hope that you'll share some more offerings later this evening in round 2.
Okay.
All right. So on deck, we got Urban Cowboy Poet, who's also part of the Fierce 15. I got to hang out with him in New York City at the festival. But please welcome to the mic now. She's a producer here at Word is Right. She hosts Freestyle Fridays every last Friday of the month. And she also hosts and is a producer at the New York and Poets Cafe at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Thursdays, which I love. It's one of my favorite nights to go to. Jeff Cotcher and I always try to see who's going to be first. It's just for some reason always me or him or Pinky. But please, and she also just hosted a burlesque poetry show. Unfortunately, I did miss it a couple weeks ago, but I was told you guys might do another one in February, so hopefully I can make it to that. So please welcome now my friend Ray Jane.
Thank you, Lizzie. Greetings, everybody. Hey, good to see you. Good to be here sharing energy. I appreciate you for the space and sharing your platform in the way that you do. So I have one poem for you guys for tonight. Wrote it, I want to say this weekend. Just kind of really like how it feels. So I hope you feel something. So it's entitled Screaming. A great oak sent a root forth to tell the truth. She spoke with the authority of an original. Nobody tells you how much pain the butterfly was in within her cocoon. We have kept the secrets of all creatures, nourished your death back to generations in soil. We have filled all lungs with our breath, bearing witness to all methods of survival, constant like change. Your storybooks left out one thing, the screaming. The sound a soul makes enraptured in metamorphosis. We listened as what made the caterpillar too soft stiffened. We bonded branches embraced against banshee wailing, sending mercy to her hanging limb as she grew wings. We breathed collective sigh of relief when she finally fought herself out of what it took to change her. We rustled our leaves when her enemies threatened to feast upon her progress. We cringed at the screech of cracking chrysalis, sound of a lesson grating against petrified belief systems. We cheered when courage echoed into her chest, while what was left, delicate, stretched into twin mosaics, caught wind. We exhaled as a collective, exchanging beauty in small silences to mute evolution's suffering. We, nature's griot, tell the whole story in our rings. The book of life leaves out no pain.
Oh my goodness. It is. There are very few poets in this world that can write scripture, and Ray Jane is one of them. It is a blessing to hear her and learn from her, and to have her part of the community. Such beautiful work. Thank you for sharing that with us. We'll hope you stick around for round 2. And yeah, make sure you get your artist ticket for the New Weekend tomorrow night at 9 p.m. so you can hop on with her Thursday night, and many of us that will join. And then if you can't, she usually does a good luck round, so you can share an offering. Anything else you'd like to promote while you're with us?
Yeah, always that. Definitely sign up is tomorrow night at the newyouweekend.org for Thursday night online open mic. Full events calendar, you pick Thursday and then 9 p.m. slot. You have to choose artist ticket though. That's the plug. So again, if you forget, just show up and we will get you on. We love to see new people, so please do come out. We don't bite, unless that's what you're into. But definitely come out. And then Poetic Affairs is also, or Art Divine rather, it's also having a series of workshops, writing workshops. Myself, I'll be doing one not this Sunday, but the Sunday after Thanksgiving. So look out for that. You can follow me at It's Ray Jane, ITSRAYJANE, and hope to meet new friends.
Yeah, please check all that out. And Paul Conquiso also hosts with that. organization our friend Destiny also does as well. So check them all out, give them some love. And yeah, try to beat me and Jeff to getting the first slot of artist tickets on Thursday. I mean, you know, we need new voices. I mean, we love hearing each other and embracing each other, but someone's got to try to get the first slot. I don't know. But anyway, thank you so much, Ray Jane. Always a pleasure to have you. And we'll hopefully hear a little more from you later this evening. All right. All right. So on deck, we got D. Allen. But up to like now, he is a part of our Fierce 15 launch of Red or Green Books with me and myself, Terry, and the other authors in that launch. And I got to meet him in person in New York. And I think he's going to come back to New York in January, right? You said? For a concert?
Yeah, I can tell you about it. I got ticket info.
Good. Well, we're excited to come support you, us Manhattanites and New Yorkers. So please welcome our friend, Urban Cowboy Poet.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, Lizzie alluded to, I'm coming to perform in Carnegie Hall with the Oberlin Conservatory Choir and Orchestra and Community Musical Union together, January 20th. And now tickets are on sale, and I have a promo code for half-price tickets, and I'll put that in the chat. I think I got it
Awesome.
right.
Yeah, please put that in the chat, and
There it
we'll
is.
try to
It's
get
right
there to support you. There you go. Welcome to try to support you. That's awesome. Congratulations.
I can't write scriptures, or I can't write anything serious. I let other people do that. But since I'm talking about singing, I'm going to do some singing. I'm thinking about Thanksgiving and all the food I'll eat and all the weight I'll gain, and thinking maybe there's a place where I can eat everything I want and I won't get fat. And this was written partly by me, but mostly by Alan Sherman. When all the world starts to call me jumble and my chairs all crumble to the ground, heaven widens a magic lane. When all my mass darkens up the skyway, there's a fat-free highway to be found, leading from my dinner plate to a place where I'll be thin, all the food without the gain. Somewhere overweight people just like me must have some place where folks don't count every calorie. Somewhere over the rainbow, thin and tall, there's a land where they've never heard of cholesterol, where folks can eat just what they want and still be trim and slim and gaunt. You'll find me, where every little thing I taste won't wind up showing on my waist, or worse, behind me, somewhere over the rainbow. Somewhere overindulging is divine. If their waistlines aren't bulging, why then, oh, why is mine? If bluebirds weighed as much as I, you'd see some big fat bluebirds in the sky. Thank you.
Well, that was my favorite rendition of Somewhere Over the Rainbow I've ever heard.
Like I said, there's an introduction which nobody knows, but I wrote the parody of the introduction. But the late great Alan Sherman wrote that song. He's my role model for parody writing.
Yes, it was wonderful. Well, thank you for sharing that, Urban Cowboy Poet. We're excited to see you back in New York this winter. He dropped the link in the chat where you get tickets and a discount. So
yeah, 50% discount.
That's awesome. Yeah, so check that out. Get your tickets now before it sells out, and we'll hopefully see you in New York in about a month, almost 2 months.
I'm going to put links in for my book and for my YouTube and stuff too.
Yes.
I found out I'm coming to Carnegie Hall twice. The whole group is coming in January to do this Moses thing, but the students are coming in December to perform Beethoven's Ninth with the choral fourth movement, not for the public, just for the United Nations. General Assembly, and they invited me, not my sisters who were in that, not a lot of people, because I'm a tenor and they need tenors. So that one's expense paid. So I'll be there twice at Carnegie. Oh, incredible.
That's
But
awesome,
January one's the one's open to the public.
Wonderful. Well, congratulations on that. We're excited to see you back in New York City. Like I said, he's a part of the Fierce 15 with Elizabeth Oots, who's here tonight, author of Was, Tara Sturtson, Camila Chronicles, myself, Kunda Beanie, and Urban Cowboy Poet, Urban Cowboy Poetry. So check out his YouTube, buy his book, Red or Green Books, and yeah, get your tickets now for Carnegie Hall before it gets sold out. There it is, with Shane Manor, who's the
I'll
cover
be
artist.
glad you did.
Yes. Well, thank you so much, UCP. Always a pleasure to have you. And we hope to hear more from you tonight. All right. So before we go back to the top of our list to round us out in round one, please welcome our friend D. Allen. You there, D?
Yeah.
There he is. Good.
From my new and seventh book, Rust Lands. This is called Night Eagle. Dusk hides nothing from the night eagle, himself hidden in the trees, with feathers and wings of sandy hue, bulbous eyes as black as his native grove. Nyctophilium bird watches the wildness and deep darkness, observes change in weather and seasons from the hollows of oaks, broad branches of redwoods. Not a thing escapes his careful, penetrating gaze under the stars. Red men claim the night eagle is the spirit of one of their departed, brought back to earth in avian form, protective, insightful, wiser than he was in life. He gives a sharp chorus of hoots, spreads his wings, and flies after intruders on the ground, chasing those field rats back to holes within nightly abyss before the slow coming of day. The night eagle, watcher of the woods, wings of sandy hue, black eyes, is my spirit animal, according to a spinning color wheel on an iPad, on a table, under a tent. A pretty blonde park ranger directed me to during the stand for the Redwoods Festival, Yerba Buena Gardens, San Francisco. Color wheel rotated clockwise by the touch of my index finger on screen, then slowed in pace. Right side arrow landed on yellow, northern spotted owl. I don't believe in this spirit animal nonsense at all. But the traits the fabled night eagle has, vigilance, insight, wisdom, lie in me nonetheless. That first poem was called Night Eagle, my ode to the northern spotted owl, indigenous to California. And the next poem is going to be based on actual events that took place in the year 2016. From my new and sixth book, Rusty Gallows, Passages Against Hate. This is called Spirit Horse. Every spring as trees sprout new leaves, Aboriginal nation reflects and grieves, long after justice failed them one most slight. They remembered a beloved sister's departure from her family's sight. At close range, muzzle flash from a policeman's gun. Panic from a petite Diné woman, dissipated, her life was done. Street-bound transition from flesh to spirit, hoofbeats pound, a steady gallop, and only she could hear it. Sky blue eyes, gray spotted body, stray horse drew near with a neigh. Instinctively, she knew it came to carry her away from a white man's world that shown her nothing but disrespect. She climbed onto the steed's bare back, wrapped her arms around its massive necks, and finally rode off on a distant course to a peaceful, eternal repose on the spirit horse. That poem was called Spirit Horse in memory of 27-year-old Deadpan police brutality victim from Arizona, L'Oreal Sinigny, 1989 to 2016. Rest in peace. And the last poem is going to be mercifully short. So I'm going to use the share screen feature one more time. But first, I got to pull up the picture for y'all. From my fifth book, Eloi Onichi, Poems, 2013 to 2018. And the poem happens to be an ode about this little guy that's around my neck. The little red guy here, made of red stone. This is called Totem. From a long black cord surrounding my neck, I carry my strength. Smooth carved apple coral blood red stone totem. Crawling bear facing the east, sky blue lifeline points to western edge of creation. Area he defends throughout the year. Then he hibernates and dreams during winter. What the bear seeks is medicine. What the bear finds is medicine. What the bear eats is medicine. What the bear exudes is medicine, meant for our withstanding the chaos. Cave-dwelling woodland animal, spirit sacred to the Zuni, the Anasazi, Yuna Navwadi, bear medicine to the Chalagi, or Cherokee Indians, if you prefer. The beast that walks firmly on faux legs or two, like a man best represents internal strength I can use, worn as an outer totem around my neck.
Give some love to our friend D. Allen.
And that last poem was called Totem.
It's
And it's a
beautiful
ode
imagery. And
to this little guy here, which was given to me by a poet friend of mine who passed away about a year and a half ago, Richard Sanderell, the cursive writer. San Francisco poet gave me this after he took a trip to a powwow in Arizona several years ago. Came back with a bunch of these, gave me this one. The bear that best represents the inner strength that lies in us all, male, female, and other. That comes from our woodland friend, the bear. From this mic to your ears, I'm D. Allen. Thanks for listening. Every month is Native American History Month.
yes, it is. Thank you so much, D. Allen. I'm so sorry for your loss. May your friend's memory be a blessing and may he rest in poetry. Thank you for the offerings. It was beautiful to see the screen share and hear your words along with it. He's got 7 books out, which we're very proud of him for that. It's very impressive. So please drop the links to where people can order and support you on that. All right. Before we round out round 1, I just want to check in and see if Terry's there in case she wants to go this round. You there, Terry? All right, I'll check in with her over text. Hope she's okay. But we will go back to the top of our list. All right. If you don't want to read again or you don't see your name on listen do, please let me know and I'll add you. So on deck, we got Jeff Cottrell, but please welcome back to kick off round 2, Shocky G.
All right. Let me see. Caught me off guard. I'll do this one. It's a short one. It's called 6 Feet. At times, we have been miles apart. 2 moons circling the same globe, but 6 feet deep is the farthest distance I know. Together, we counted time, begged for more, but an eternity without you is the longest time I've known. I've loved you long before I knew what that meant. Poured out a heart liquid like mercury, but love is the strongest force I've known. I've missed you deep as oceans would move mountains to see you again, but 6 feet into eternity is the hardest journey we'll ever know. I can do this one. It's stupid, but I don't. It's called Froggy. There are certain frogs that cause people to hallucinate if you lick them. The chemicals in their skin act as an antidepressant and cause the body to release large amounts of serotonin. I wonder if this is where fairy tales got the notion to kiss frogs and find princes. Like maybe they were high as fuck and convinced themselves the next stranger they met was the man of their dreams. How long does the high last? The last woman I dated seemed to be addicted to me for 2 months. We only lasted 5. I often think she was hallucinating. Saw something in me that just wasn't there. When she left, she said, I was too laid back and I didn't argue enough. It kind of sounds like I was all prince and no charming, like shining armor but never been knighted. Didn't stop the arrow from piercing skin. I felt every blow. What do you have to lick to find a queen? Never been a fan of castles. They feel like mausoleums for the living. Maybe I wasn't meant for this. And I don't even know what this means. But I would lick anything if it would bring me closer to you.
Coffee Geo. And nothing she says is stupid. No one's art is stupid. We love it. We're positive about ourselves. We don't live in imposter syndrome. We don't compare ourselves to others. All our work is uniquely us. And I always love what you bring. So thank you for sharing, Shaki. Give her a follow on IG. She again is in our Out Loud anthology, which also has a podcast every first Sunday of the month. There's always a feature, so check that out. They talk a lot about the mental health in the LGBTQ community. All right, thank you, Shaki. All right. On deck, we got Ethan Mackler, but back up to the mic, our friend Jeff Cacho.
Okay, so I'll give you an oldie that's not a poem, but it's an introduction to a poem. It's called Poem Introduction. So this is from my third book of poetry, which was published by Happy Jack Press in Neepawa, Manitoba in 1996, and titled With Vulnerable Roses Do I Sweep the Curtained Walls. That's the title of the book, not the poem itself. The poem is called Flutter and the Heroes Bathe. I've structured this poem as a series of villanelles. For those who don't know what a villanelle is, it's a 19-line poem made up of 5 tercets and a quatrain with 2 refrains and 2 repeated rhymes. The idea for this poem came to me sometime in the late 80s when I was vacationing in what was then West Berlin, but of course one would now refer to the entire city of Berlin due to Germany's radically changed political situation in the ensuing years. I was wandering around the Tiergarten, searching for the pond called Der Neue See, literally translated as the New Sea, yet I couldn't find my way out of the goldfish Teich area closer to the wall. It was a frustrating and embarrassing experience. I didn't know a lot of German at the time, so I didn't make much progress as far as asking for directions. I came upon this old tree. I believe it was near the Soviet War Memorial. I'm sure you know the one. And the tree was shaped like, I suppose you would call it a hexagonal cross-section. Truly a miracle of nature. And there was a bird up in the tree, and it was singing. It was a robin. And the robin's tune gave me the idea for this poem because it reminded me of something Bertolt Brecht once said about a bird's mating song. I believe the exact words are, Ich spiele Fußball mit dem getrennten Kopf von Leni Riefenstahl. In other words, humanity's customs and laws and beliefs have changed over the centuries, but the birds are still here, virtually unchanged. It's a direct connection to history, and it's this direct connection that I wanted to express in this poem that I'm going to read to you right now. Oh, another fascinating thing about the Tiergarten is the history of the Siegessäule, or the Victory Column. The monument originally stood further east, more or less in front of the Reichstag, but the Nazis ordered the monument moved to its present location merely because the Siegessäule blocked their view of the city. I mean, isn't that astounding? They tore down the monument brick by brick and reassembled it further away, the same way they did with the original London Bridge when they moved it to Arizona. It staggers the mind. I even wrote a haiku about it. For those who don't know what a haiku is, it's a traditional Japanese style of short form poetry consisting of 17 syllables, sometimes, though not exclusively, in 3 lines. But I was going to tell you about this poem, which once again is titled Flutter and the Heroes Bathe. Now, what I was trying to achieve in this poem is an embellishment and juxtaposition of many themes close to my heart, such as the yearning for peace of mind in times of war and social disruption, but also the fleeting spiritual wanderings of youth when confronted by the futility of worshiping physical beauty, as well as the agonies of the downfall of pride and vanity. I believe, truly, it was all best expressed in Michel Foucault's essays about spatial relationships in literature. Now, I'm not going to stand here recounting all of Foucault's ingenious spatial theories for you, as I'm sure we're all familiar with them, and it would waste valuable time, and we'd never get to my poem, in which, incidentally, I was going for a sort of William Blake feel, particularly in the use of metaphysical metaphors and gustatory imagery, and yet I also wanted to evoke the spirit of Rudy Weeb, as I've always admired his depictions of the Native American perspective. I remember the first time I read The Temptations of Big Bear. My lord, I must have been 17. I swear the book changed my life. It made me see our North American heritage in a completely different light, far more powerful than Dances with Wolves. Well, on with my poem. Flutter and the Heroes Bathe, Part 1 of 17. Flutter and the hero... What do you mean I'm out of time? That was called Poem Introduction. So again, I will put some fun info in the chat for you.
I think that's the first time I actually had ever heard
Oh, really?
that poem. We've known each other for a couple of years.
I've done that at the Nuyo a few times, and Advocate was like, "Oh, this is triggering me," because like of people, so many people he's seen do that have introductions longer than the poem. Ugh.
I liked it. Now you have to update and add Pankus in it though. And the baby agrees.
Hi, baby. Where's the baby?
Reva's granddaughter. Hello. Well, anyway, always good to hear you, Jeff. I love that piece. I'm so glad I got to hear it tonight. Buy his book, Hate Story, his novel. Follow him, and he does a lot of amazing things all over the world, which is a very cool thing. And hopefully, I get to see him in person next summer when I get up to Canada in July.
Oh, that's right. Remind me when you're coming. Yeah, remind me of that.
I will, end of July. So I'll be in Alberta, but then I'll get on a plane to Toronto.
Okay.
So.
Yeah. Keep posted on it.
Sorry about that, guys. All right, Jeff Cottrell, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so on deck we got Nemo, but please welcome back now, Ethan. Ethan Mackler on the bass. Give him some love. Always good to hear you, Ethan. Check out Garage Poets, usually on Fridays, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. They do some writing prompts and they'll usually have a feature. And it's just a lovely open mic. And like I said, he's the only person that looks better in a beanie and glasses than me. So there you go. And I hope we get to meet in person one day, either in Massachusetts or New York. So always happy to have you here. All right. No worries, Terry. Happy to have you here, but we'll hear you next time. All right. So on deck, we got Marion Peterson, but please welcome back now, Nemo.
Thank you very much. Depression has been sitting on my couch today, making exasperated noises, carefully interjecting in the quiet moments what could have been if I wasn't such a disappointment. Despair is close by. I can smell her hiding and waiting for me to come and find her so that she can hold me until there is only breath and pain, because there is always pain. Waking in a crater again, I have to ask myself, was the velocity mine? Did I choose this trajectory? Was the crash my fault, or the result of inevitable vectors carved into the face of the universe? I'm the paper warrior, and I fight the wind. No matter how many times I get blown down, I get back up to be blown down again. I don't think of myself as weak, maybe brave, determined. I hope that I'm not a fool to keep fighting, but it's possible. I'm the paper warrior, and I fight the wind. Thank you.
And continue to fight the wind, Nemo. We send you all the love. We're so happy you're here with us tonight. I have depression and anxiety, and I know that's not easy to live with day in and out. I spoke about that on Girl Poets recently. But a great way to help that is by being in these spaces and talking about it and channeling it into our art. So thank you for doing that. Well, yeah, let's snap for Nemo, y'all. Give him all the love for, because it is brave to talk about that stuff. It's not easy. But we appreciate you. And I'm going to send you a DM, so check the DM in a minute. But I'm so happy you're here. Do you have anything coming up you'd like to promote?
I will be doing the next Writing for Wellness with the Guerrilla Poets on Thursday evening. You can find it through the Guerrilla Poets. The link to the Facebook links, they're just like long strings of numbers. Is that right?
Yeah, usually they're long strings.
Grab one and paste it. Okay. All right. Well, so it's under the Guerrilla Poets. It's the workshop's called Writing for Wellness. And we do it on the first and third Thursdays of every month. So if you'd like to come, we'd love to have you. So thank you very much. It's wonderful to be here tonight.
So happy you're here, Nemo. Absolutely. Hopefully I can make it on Thursday before New Year. I went last time when Mod Dukes hosted it, and it was really helpful for me. So thank you. I'm gonna send you a little DM. But thank you. And you check out Girl Poets. He's in you're in Charlotte, right? If you have any spoken word coming up in Charlotte, check him out there. There's a great spoken word community in Charlotte, so check them out and give them some love. Yeah, I'm gonna try to come visit. I was talking to Shane about it.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, so hopefully in December, January, I've never been to North Carolina, so hopefully I will get to do that. But I'll send you a DM and we'll keep going. All right, on deck we got Raging, but please welcome back Marion Peterson.
I have a song that I wrote November 26, 1992, called You Make Mine. You make my heart beat, you make my life complete. You are the sunshine in my life. You are the only light in my life. Make me feel so real, make my heart beat. All this is true, I can't fool you. You are the only sun in my world, never going to leave you. You are the only light in my life, make me feel so real, make my heart beat. You are the only one who understands me. You are my sunshine, I've lost you. So you stay with me, I will always be happy. You are the only light in my life, make me feel so real, make my heart beat. You are my everything, make my world seem brighter, make my heart beat, make my life complete.
Marianne Peterson and her famous ukulele. We love when you bring that to Deadpan Dope, Marianne.
Thanks.
Thank you for being here with us.
You're welcome.
Like I said, buy her. She's got almost 10 books out, which is incredibly impressive. So go support her. She'll let everyone know in the chat where you can go support her. And she's a mainstay here at Deadpan Dope, so you can always catch her on the first and third Tuesdays of the month with us. Thank you, Marianne.
Welcome.
Cool. So on deck we got UCP, but please welcome back our friend Raging.
Hey. Greetings, everybody. You guys have just been like, tonight. I'm just sitting here, just soaking it up. I'm blessed to be in this space with you. Honored as well. Also, this next one, I'm putting together so many manuscripts at this moment, but certainly one that represents me and my people. So this is a short piece from that. And it's entitled Sharecroppers' Grands. Sharecropper blood coursing roads yet to be paved. We pass by fields of cotton and I smell despair. Cousins tell of summers dipped in old work. Sunrise meeting sunset amidst freshly bleeding calluses, thirst striking just as hot as the Georgia heat. Red clay caked with broken reconstruction promises. The singing removing the honey from their old flesh trumpets. Making a few dollars triggering my privilege. The cost too high to make it make sense. Do what my ancestors died doing? Nah. Silently I reject my heritage. Figure it beneath me. But still, when the sun meets the sunset, we forget the same way. Moonshine tipping like open spout, passing itself to each speaking experience. Guts protests with expected, ugh, that's it right there. I smile it down, too ashamed to be weak in front of them, tolerating their eraser of choice, the least I can do now, peering down the dough-like hands, while trying to hold mine, humbled by the burn. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that authoring and your voice and your energy with us and being present with us tonight. I always learn so much from Raging every time I get to hear and just be in her presence, even if we're not sharing art together. I'm always just learning so much from her presence. She's a friend. We've gotten to hang out many times together in person. So thank you for being with us, Raging. Follow her on IG. It's Raging. Check her at the Nuyo, Artist Define, right? Yep, where she teaches with Paul and Destiny. And she'll drop all that in the chat. And she, of course, has her Freestyle Fridays at the last Friday of every month with us, where you get to cipher. So if you like cipher and just hang out, and she gives really fun writing prompts. Check that out and all the cool things. And I like her sweatshirt. I love a Syracuse sweatshirt. So there you go. All right. On deck, we got D. Allen, but back up to the mic now is UCP.
Hi there. Lizzie, I'm not able to make it on New Year on Mondays and Thursdays. If anybody's more in New York that's interested in coming, maybe somebody could relay the information, the link that I had for tickets. The link is also on my Greg Michaels Facebook page, not UCP page. So if anybody could relay that, if anybody's interested to other New Yorkers, that'd be nice. I'll do an urban legend. That's what I got. You probably heard them all, but that's what I got. Fire diving. On a hot day in the summer, Charlie did what he loved most. He went scuba diving off the California coast. No better way to keep cool than exploring in the water. What Charlie didn't know was that his day would get much hotter. As he was hunting clams and stuff and flippering around, up from above the surf, he heard a whoopa sound. Charlie got to wondering just what that could be, and a round metallic vessel starts submerging in the sea. He felt himself being pulled aboard by some powerful suction. What the heck was going on? Alien abduction? Was Charlie being hijacked to some aqueous moon of Jupiter by flipper beings who think that he's just like them, only stupider? Now, when Charlie was out there swimming around and playing scuba games, 100 square miles of forest land was going up in flames. The U.S. Forest Service had done set its plan in motion. They sent a fleet of aircraft to scoop water from the ocean. Torn a flying saucer, which is a Forest Service chopper, carrying seawater, fishes, crabs, and Charlie in its hopper. 1 minute Charlie's in the sea, then in the wild blue yonder. Next thing he knows, he's fighting fires. He's become a first responder. When the pilot dumped his bucket on the patch he aimed to soak, Charlie landed in the branches of a black and red oak. He dived equipped with tank and mask, flippers, and wetsuit, but he forgot to bring along his fireproof parachute. Later, when the rangers surveyed damage they could see, they spied a curious, crispy critter hanging in a tree. Is that a bear way up there? One ranger had to ask. Not unless a bear would wear 2 flippers and a mask. California firemen's wives were so proud of their spouses who fought to save the pot farms and the $1 million houses. If you'd asked old Charlie's wife, she'd have said the chance was 0 that her scuba diving hubby would turn out to be a hero. When they ID'd Charlie, his wife cried, but her head couldn't be held higher. He was accredited with extinguishing 2 square yards of fire. Fate's a bitch when a man goes diving looking for adventures and winds up burnt so bad he must be ID'd by his dentures. Thank you.
Yeah, UCP. Catch him in New York City.
Yeah.
Carnegie Hall twice. He gave us a discount. We'll be there to
Yeah.
support you. Get your New York community, got your back. And get his
Yeah.
book. Part of the
I can't get the New Year, so if you want to share that info, share it. Thank you.
Absolutely, no problem. So we'll go ahead and share that for you. And yeah, get tickets, get his book. Follow him on his YouTube channel. There it is. I have that book in my
I
New
put
York
that in the
apartment. I have
chat
it here on
too.
Long Island.
I put that in the chat too.
Yeah,
$15.
so drop all that. Yep.
Hmm?
So drop all that in the chat. He's got PayPal, right?
I did. I put it in the chat.
Yeah, awesome. All right. Well, thank you, Greg. Always a pleasure to have you.
Thank you.
All right. The last artist of the night before we do our I statement and our beanie blessing is going to be D. Allen.
I'm going to do one last poem, and it's going to be brutally short, half a page. And I'm going to use the share screen feature one more time. This last one was based on a trip I took to another part of California in the summer of 2015. And the title of this one also serves as the first line. This is called Kule Loklo, was what the Miwok Indians called Olima, California, prior to Spanish contact. The visitor center held no fresh wonders for me. The path ahead of it intrigued me mo, cutting past eucalyptus trees, which finally led to Kuliloklo, nestled under thick Douglas fir trees, Katka houses, where gatherers of salmon, clams, and acorns slept, Lama, sweat lodge, where men went, sweating themselves to purity, roundhouse, where the chief mother gave prayers to her clan, a step back in time to a village Miwok tongues named to honor, Valley of the Bear.
Thank you, Dee.
And that
Another
poem
beautiful
was
offering.
and that poem was called Kule Loklo. And what you're seeing on the screen is the inside of an ancient Miwok roundhouse where they had all their public gatherings for the tribe. From this mic to yo ears, I'm Dee Allen. Thanks for listening. Every month is Native American Heritage Month.
Thank you, Dee. That was a lovely offering. Thank you for sharing the photo and the poem. Check out his books, check out everything he does. He attends a lot of our online mic communities. So it's been a beautiful night. I want to thank everyone for their presence tonight and their artistry. As we do here at Deadpan Dope, I'm going to share the screen and show you tonight's I statement. So at the end of the night, Deadpan Dope, what we've been doing lately are I statements. Tonight's I statement, if you don't want to do an I statement, you just want to make it a prompt for yourself. Again, notice is mandatory. It's just something we like to do here at Deadpan Dope is I am beautiful.
I am beautiful.
That's our I statement. I am beautiful.
I am beautiful.
We can write. Yes. So you can make it a panku, you can make it a poem, make it into a painting if you want, write a proper I statement, which this is what a proper I statement looks like. I feel, when, and because. Okay. How we construct it, right? Some of the common errors, try to avoid that. But again, you don't have to make it a proper I statement. Do what you want with it in your journey and your healing. Okay. And that is our wheel of words to choose from. And it doesn't matter if it's angry or happy or sad or surprised. There's no right or wrong way to do this. But I do my I statements every Tuesday and I always feel more empowered and better. If anyone wants this, some of the PDFs, let me know. And if we're connected on social media or send me an email and I'd be happy to share that with you. It's always a pleasure to have everyone in the space. Robert Fleming just came in. Robert, we're actually at the end of our mic. Is there anything you wanted to share quickly before we wrap up?
I just wanted to say hello, and I want to say that December 1st is going to be a Memorial Day for World's AIDS Day, and that my local GLBT Center, Camp Rehoboth, will be having an art show to support AIDS Memory Day, and one of my art pieces will be in the art show.
Oh, congratulations on that. And yes, December 1st is World AIDS Day. We do not forget that epidemic. For about almost a decade now, I have been a stage manager and doing work with Broadway Cares Equity Fights AIDS here in New York City. They help people all around the world in this country and families who are still fighting that battle. So thank you for shining light on that, Robert. We appreciate you as that comes up in a couple weeks. But to close our mic out now, and then we'll go off the live feed, Nemo is going to share the Beanie blessing. So when you're ready, take it away, Nemo.
All right, thank you. Okay, we close out our time together, staring up at the same sky. Whether the sun kisses down on your gentle face, the cotton candy clouds begin to swirl in the early evening. The crescent moon fades in as the constellations begin to dance throughout the night. We all look up at the same sky. Thank you for blessing the sky, soil beneath our feet, and our family with your presence and art. Thank you for taking the time to create. Thank you for holding space. May you squirt out poems kitty style in dreamland. May we always have beanies to keep us warm and stylish. This has been the Deadpan Dope Tuesday open mic with The Word is Right, hosted by Deadpan Lizzie, the Beanie God. On behalf of our community, I, Nemo, bid you adieu until next time. Beanie blessings.